Geoffrey Goldberg, welcome to the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
This is going to be a fun one. We're going to be talking about you, your agency, Movers+Shakers, how you got into this business, and something that you do on the side that you're really passionate about.
Cool. Sounds great.
Wonderful. Before we begin, what do you like to do outside of work?
Well, I spend a lot of my time outside of work with my two daughters, 2 and 7.
Nice.
I become like the hairstylist at home. So
Okay.
my weekend, I flew to New York this weekend, and the weekend before I came was doing my daughter's hairstyles. So.
What's the hairstyle that's in right now?
Every time it's a little bit different. This
Okay.
time she wants poof on one side and twists on the other. So,
Fantastic.
Look it up, get on Pinterest, figure out how to do it,
For sure.
and make it happen.
For sure. So you're doing that, and you are based where? Santa Monica?
I live in Santa Monica. Yeah.
Nice, beautiful there.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Not as humid as New York right now.
Yeah, it's tough over here. Got it. And the agency is also based in Santa Monica, is that correct?
Yeah, well, the agency is run by me and my husband.
Yeah.
So we live in Santa Monica. We're remote. We also have hubs kind of in LA, New York, London. So I'm actually here in New York with a lot of our team, about 25 people, connecting with leaders and stuff.
Absolutely. So Movers+Shakers will be the main subject point of this podcast. But before we get into that, we have rapid fire questions.
All right.
And usually our producer, Ellie, rates how well the guests do based off speed and creativity. So I will be.
So I shouldn't rank myself. I'll let you.
I will be doing that. And I'm much more harsh critic than Ellie. Ellie gives everybody like a 9. Like, Ellie, you can't give everybody a 9. Like, you have to actually.
Let's challenge that. Maybe.
Yeah. So I'm stepping in today. Okay.
You're a harsher critic today.
Absolutely. So rapid fire.
All right.
It's going to begin judged off speed and creativity. Are you ready, Geoffrey?
I'm ready.
Okay. Where are you most creative?
In the subway.
What's your greatest source of inspiration?
Visual media.
What's the best concert you've ever seen?
My first one, Weird Al Yankovic.
So what are you currently streaming?
Billions.
What's the greatest place you've ever visited?
Oh, Tibet.
And what's the best thing you've read recently, social article or book?
Young Pueblo, his a bunch of beautiful books, poetry about how to be a better human.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, you get a 9.8.
Whoa.
9.8 out of 10.
All right.
Really good. Can we go back? What shocked me? What did you say for the best concert you've ever seen?
Weird Al Yankovic.
That was wild. When was that?
Oh my God. I guess this was in the 90s, and it was the first concert I ever went to. So I guess it set some sort of bar for myself of what concerts were. The last one was Beyonce. So, I mean, honestly, that was really good. That was the best in its own right.
How are you going to put Weird Al over Beyonce?
Well, sometimes the first one is just like that. It blows your mind the first time you see something. So that was like, and just the ridiculousness. No, I will say, though, the Beyonce, I hadn't been to a concert in a while, and seeing Beyonce recently, that also blew my mind in a very different way.
Yes. And I know. Have you ever seen Taylor Swift? I feel like people love that experience as well.
Not in concert.
Okay.
No. Maybe the next one.
Have you seen her outside of concert? It sounds like you've seen her before.
No, you're like, oh no, we just hang out.
Yeah.
But I've never seen her in concert. No.
So funny. Okay, cool. I mean, no, you did really well there. And what was the book again?
Young Pueblo, Yung. He's I forget the name of it. He has got like 3 different books. But it's kind of like a mix of poetry and prose. It's all just about like becoming a better human, tapping into emotion and love and relationships and everything.
Yeah. Is there a book that you read that was instrumental to your career?
I've done
like a handbook or a course. Or is there anything that like really kind of set the stage for you?
I don't know if it's set the stage, but I have recently I've been reading a lot of leadership books and organizational structure books and things like that.
Give me some advice, because I have this media company, and I feel like Jack and I are terrible bosses to our 2 employees. Like,
that happens.
We're very bad, and we're very well aware of that. And we're very cognizant of that. And now that they're not here right now, so we can talk freely.
We can talk freely about
yes.
that. Okay, perfect.
What do you like? And you're a leader in your company. Like, what have you learned that was like a big unlock for you recently?
I think so much about building a company as about working with people you really like to work with.
Yeah.
And, we very early on when we were building Movers and Shakers, we realized, this is all about, as we're building our team, it's all about innovation and risk taking.
Yeah.
And for me, that also meant like you've got to create a culture where risk taking is allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard, not coming from this industry, but I heard a lot about this industry where people get like their, creative work thrown across the room and do better next time. It's like, who's going to take a risk if you run into that, right? And so one thing that I've always thought about building as we built our team and we built our culture, it's like, how do you create a space where people are not afraid to take risk? And that for us, that's about a culture of joy. It's about a culture of celebration. You celebrate the tiny wins, you celebrate the failures, so that people are more inclined to come and take a risk with you. And that is about everyone you hire. It's like, how are they contributing to that?
Yeah, so celebrating the wins and even the failures.
Yeah, we do faceplant Fridays sometimes where people will share like what's a mess up they had. Things like, I accidentally CC'd my client on the email about my client, and everyone's like, the permission to get it off your chest. You realize, it's like we're allowed to fail in this industry.
That is so crucial, and like I think it's like innate. Like I think it's an understanding that this is supposed to be a creative industry, but it's taken for granted. And I feel like the way that you're setting up the culture of Movers and Shakers is different, and if you're doing that stuff, so that's good to hear.
Yeah. It's a creative industry, but it's a human industry. And at the end of the day, what you're building and on your team, you've got 4 people, right?
Yeah.
And you're growing that, and it's about who are the people that are doing the work.
Yeah, absolutely. And you like working with your coworkers there. I want to learn more about Movers and Shakers. Like, what do you feel like your agency does really, really well, if not the best in the industry?
Yeah. So brands come to Movers and Shakers because they want to win on social. They want to connect with culture. They want to connect with communities. And so we're very social first in our thinking.
Yeah.
Originally back in our company's about 9 years old now, but we really hit a stride in the beginning of COVID in 2020 when we got very well known for a lot of our hashtag challenges and viral campaigns.
Okay.
And so a lot of brands flocked to Movers and Shakers.
What were some of those?
We did, the first one we did was actually, it still holds the record of like most viral campaign ever on TikTok, which was with e.l.f. Cosmetics, the Eyes Love Space challenge.
Yeah, okay.
But we've done campaigns with Netflix, with DSW, we've done work with Red Bull, like, all these moments where you get a community engaged and participating. Yeah. And that's a really unique thing to get, to create virality. And it's something that we get that ask all the time, even today. It's not about hashtag challenges, but it's more just about how do we create something that grabs attention, that gets people participating in our work. Yeah,
it's no longer just one-way communications where brands talking to an idle audience.
Absolutely
They're
not.
definitely participating and commenting back or sharing. And so it's like tapping into that conversation. Easier said than done. What do you find is like the biggest mistake people make, or like they jump to this mistake constantly when trying to go viral or trying to communicate with their audience?
Yeah, I think a lot of people and brand marketers say, I want to get a lot of people, say, talking about my product. And so let's have them do the thing with the soda can. And it's like, no one wants to do the thing with the soda can.
Yeah.
Right. Like no one's going to make a piece of content or tweet or something talking about your product. They're going to do something that's going to help them look cool on social, or that's going to get their own followers engaged. And so it's a big shift in the mindset of like, instead of saying, hey, talk about my product and just basically do a PSA for me, it's saying, how can we as a brand give our community something that they're going to be excited to participate in?
Yeah, I think it's hard to do because I feel like the tried and true case study, at least from what I remember and like being alive for, is the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Mm-hmm. That seems to be like perfect. But it's not for a specific brand. It's nonprofit. It's going to the donations for that foundation. And it's got the challenge component. It's got people interacting that went crazy. How can brands then like step into this kind of viral challenge idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Ice Bucket Challenge was like one of the original ones.
Yeah.
Like, there was like that, and then like the Harlem Shake.
Yes.
Right? Remember that on
yes.
YouTube?
Or the Black Beetle Challenge, like everybody stopped like doing what they're like.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they were different. Obviously, the Ice Bucket was like you did it, and then you kind of tagged. So you called out, I'm going to ask this person to do it
which is
next.
great. It keeps the domino effect going.
Right. Other challenges, you're not directly challenging someone to do it, but the challenge itself is so fun that people want to participate. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's a lot of times, when we think about creating something that's going to go viral or that's going to get a lot of participation, it's like, how can you make this fun for people? Like, to fire up your phone and make a piece of content that you're going to post and put yourself out there that people might like or engage with or not engage with. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a risky thing for any person to do. And so how can we give people an opportunity to do something that's really fun? And so oftentimes the challenges that are very viral it gives you an opportunity to be really clever, right? You can show off your wardrobe. Like we did this thing with the DSW. You got to show off your shoe wardrobe in the middle of COVID, where it's like no one got to see your shoes because we're all on Zoom. And so
nice.
It's like, how do you give people the opportunity to show off, to have fun and I do honestly think that joy, that emotion, when it's something emotional, that goes viral. People want to share that.
And does the brand usually initiate the challenge or the piece of content that's supposed to go viral? Or do you suggest, and I'm sure, or do you see that they have influencers, micro-influencers that kick it off and say, this is the insert brand challenge or hashtag, whatever that trending hashtag is?
It's both. I oftentimes I use a party metaphor a lot for social media. And I think when you're creating some sort of viral moment, it's like you're trying to show the world that a party has started. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm late to the party. Right. And if only the brand starts that party, it's kind of like the party promoter being like, yo, come to my party. But if all of your friends are talking about going to this party on Saturday night and you also got the flyer, you're like, well, damn, I want to go too, right? And so it does have to be 360.
Yeah. It seems like at what point when brands start participating in these viral moments, does it become not cool?
Yeah.
And
well, that's different, right? Because oftentimes when a viral moment happens, mm-hmm. Or just a trend happens and a brand wants to participate, sometimes I often ask, like, does this brand have the right to play? Yeah. Right. Do they have a community that's like ready for them to jump in and participate in this challenge? That's different from if they initiate the challenge, right?
Got it. So let's unpack that. So if their community is willing to jump in as well, is that what you're mentioning? Like that's like an if-then statement for a brand to participate in a challenge. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if a brand has like a really engaged, if there's a certain social platform, let's say it's Instagram or TikTok, and they have a really engaged community that likes them, they make content, people engage with it, I think they have more permission to play with the conversations that are happening in the community.
Yes.
But if a brand doesn't have maybe they've never made content on this platform
and just pop in.
You just pop in and you're like, hey kids, I'm here too, right? Then it's like very clear that like, why is this brand participating in this moment that maybe like they're not even part of this culture, they're not part of that community. And that's where we sometimes caution against like, pick the moments that feel really right, not just for your brand, but also like for your community.
Yeah, I find that like sometimes brands will just pop in the comment section on TikTok or Instagram, and people love that, even if they're not usually involved. And like a quick little moment in the comment section can also do really well for some of these brands.
Oh yeah, I mean these days we look at community management as content.
Yeah.
And oftentimes what we see, and we have a whole social practice at Movers+Shakers where we do social listening and community management, and we'll see single comments that pop off more than a video. We'll get 300,000 likes on a comment, and then the video we post that next day gets 10,000 likes.
Exactly.
Right. And it really is, that's where it's the group chat. That's where the conversation is really happening.
Wow. Treating the comments like a group chat. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I think a good test of if you're funny or not is if you get a lot of likes or ha-has in your group chat with your friends.
Yeah, and even better if you get shares. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So Movers+Shakers, I mean, so this is what you guys focus on. Is this correct? Like this is like I asked the question of what do you feel you do better than most agencies? And that was your response.
Yeah, social, connecting brands into culture, and social is that main tool.
Social is the vehicle. Yeah. And can you talk about some of the clients that you work with today?
Yeah, sure. So we work with, I mentioned Elf Cosmetics before.
Which is a great one.
Them for the last, I guess, going on 6 years now, which has been amazing. We've worked on a lot of their viral moments and campaigns and run a lot of their presence on social media. We've worked with brands like Netflix, Tinder. We work with Adobe, Microsoft. So a lot of, there's a huge range of kind of renegade brands who are like, we want to be disruptive, we want to be different. And then also brands who are like, hey, help us show up in the right way,
Yeah. So then do you find yourself like, how does that work then? Do you just own like the social AOR? Is that like the dream? Like we want to be the social AOR for Adobe.
Yep.
Like insert brand here. And then how do you communicate then if there is an interagency team? I think that's what IAT stands for. I don't even know. But are you communicating then? Are you working alongside like full service creative agencies if they have the creative AOR or the media AORs? How does that work?
Yeah, it's really dynamic. So we often are the main social AOR for our clients.
That's great.
And that might range from everything from doing that community management we talked about, creating content, to social strategy and large scale campaigns, which starts to cross over with that kind of big C above the line creative. Even.
Yeah.
Some of the brands that we work with, we are, in essence, their main creative shop.
Sure.
Because they think of themselves as a social first brand. But still will participate in an IAT because it's the work that we do in this day and age, it's got to be connected, right? Media is involved. It's not just about the creative. It's about the media. It's about the PR of it all. It's about, is there an experiential activation? And so it's not uncommon that we'll work with it could be small or it could be very complex IAT for a bigger campaign. Sometimes we'll lead that IAT and sometimes we'll participate because there'll be a great campaign that's being built by another shop.
Yep.
And they'll say, hey, how do we really make this take off on social?
Which is cool. I think that's a fun challenge too. Like when the parameters are already set.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, let's get creative. Let's figure out how this can live in social.
Yeah. It's like, okay, those are the guardrails. All right. How can we make that work?
I love a guardrail.
Yeah.
I like bumpers when I go bowling, and I love guardrails in my creative briefs.
Yeah. Constraints are great for creativity.
Absolutely. And then I'm assuming sometimes if it's a more social brand, on the IAT, you guys will be leading it.
And we'll be briefing in those other agencies and say, hey, this is what we're trying to accomplish. This is the time frame. This is our go-to-market plan.
Nice.
You tell us what you think.
Okay. I'm curious about the structure of the agency then. So like copywriters, art directors, I know that in a traditional like agency sense, strategists, copywriters, art directors, is there like roles that I'm probably not aware of that are special to your agency or special to social agencies?
Yeah, I would say there's a couple things. One is we do have copywriters, we do have art directors, we have designers. We also have content creators and makers.
Okay, that's unique. For compared to traditional like large old school agency.
Yeah, it is, and I think what's unique about it too is that they're much more integrated into our day-to-day teams. Oftentimes at a more traditional shop, you might have the design arm or the content production arm, and that's kind of, they get briefed in, right? And they make it. But in our teams, your day-to-day working team, you might have a social media manager, a creative leader, and a creator.
Interesting.
Right? And those are the people that are coming up with the ideas, making the content. I'm a big believer in zero distance between idea to production. And so we have a very integrated approach where like content production, content creation, creative, and strategy they're in the same room. They're talking, and that they leave that room, and then within an hour, someone could be shooting something.
I like this. So your content creator, what is that person's job responsibility?
Great question.
Yes.
They wear many hats, and sometimes one of the hats is ideation, right? They're coming up with ideas that they can, maybe they go make themselves, or they might even brief in another creator or influencer or something. A big part of their job is shooting and editing that content.
Yep.
And just making things. And we really encourage our team to also, I say the amount of time you could take to write a slide with an idea on it, just go make the thing.
Yeah.
Go make a demo. Show me that demo. Maybe it's good enough to post, or maybe we say, okay, I see what we're trying to do. Let's respond to that. Right. So a lot of their time is just, phone in hand or camera in hand making stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we turn this into a job interview right now and you're hiring me as a content creator, what would be some questions you would ask me? I'm assuming you've already seen my portfolio or my
Your
Instagram.
portfolio is phenomenal. Yeah.
Or my Instagram page or something like that.
I loved your motion work that you did for Adidas on your portfolio.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't be nervous. It's okay. It's
I'm terrified. But yeah, what would you ask after that? Like all the prerequisites are there. Obviously, you're at the top. Like it got to you.
Yeah.
So now, what are you looking for?
Yeah, I'm always curious. Like, who do you follow? Like, who are maybe the brands that inspire you, or who are the creators that you follow?
Yeah.
And
because it tells a lot about the person.
It does,
Yeah.
and I think we are in a constant cycle of education, and especially on social. And it's not just about trends; it's about storytelling styles and formats and filters and are we using CapCut today, are we using Adobe, like what are the tools, right?
Yeah.
And there needs to be a hunger for learning in that's important from a creator.
Yeah, if I told you I'm on YouTube just looking up new methods of editing all the time and just constantly learning, I feel like that would be an advantage.
Yeah, well, like, what do you edit on? Are you like, oh, I'm trained in Final Cut Pro, or like I work with CapCut? Like, that's telling you're editing in the place maybe where cinematographers are editing, or are you editing it in a place where content creators are editing?
Yeah, love it. So what else do we need to know? Any fun things that you guys like to do that you feel is different than other ad agencies? You mentioned Faceplant Fridays, but give me some other insight in the culture. How many people are in the office? Like, do you guys show up every day? Like breaking, entering, it's mandatory 5 days a week. How do you guys operate?
We're a remote hybrid company. And so we do have hubs, New York, LA, London.
Yep.
Some of the teams get together a couple days a week, mostly working remotely, very Slack heavy culture.
Yeah.
But from content creation, it requires a lot of collaboration when people get together. I think one thing that's really fun is we do a lot of like newsroom or writer's room style creative ideation.
Yes.
And so for a lot of the work, especially when we're a social AOR and making content every day, it's different from a campaign brief when it's a longer timeline and it's a bit longer process. But we have like daily or multiple times a week writers' rooms where...
What does that look like? Yeah. To our audience.
So it might start off as more of a newsroom where we're like, hey, what's trending today? What are opportunities that are coming up? And then it moves into the more writer's room phase where like there's no bad ideas. It's just like you throw stuff on the wall. Everyone if you're a strategist, if you're a creative, if you're a writer, if you're a designer, people come up with ideas. It's all what ifs, right? It's like, what if we do that? Riff on that. And then sometimes you look for the energy in the room and you came up with 20 and only 3 end up leaving. And you say, okay, why don't you go work on those because you really liked them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of almost like a stand-up where it's like quick, put a bunch of ideas out there, you see what's exciting, and then you just go make it.
I love it. How do you get the room ready for that?
Well, everyone comes in with like a giant coffee and have usually been like scrolling that morning.
Yeah.
I do think part of it is like you got to be... this as a creative, you got to be in a certain kind of creative mindset.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just kind of like priming your brain. Like sometimes if I'm about to be in a writer's room with a team, like I'll just flip through my socials just a little bit, just to kind of get used to seeing content.
What a great job to have. It's like, okay, to get ready for this, you need to be scrolling. Are you not doom scrolling enough?
Yeah, you're not doom scrolling enough, clearly.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, but it also sounds like you set the tone with the culture of the agency from the beginning, where it's always primed. Maybe a little bit more before a writer's room.
Yeah.
But the culture seems like everybody's primed naturally.
Well, and people who work at Movers+Shakers, they want to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
They want to be doing social content. They want to be doing social storytelling, brand collaborations, big campaign moments that like grab headlines. I was going to say it's not like they wanted to be doing banner ads, but who really wants to be doing banner ads?
Not me.
But I think the people here, like they got experience doing it and they want to be doing that type of content.
I love it. So let's switch it to how you got in.
Okay.
At what moment did you say you want to be a part of the ad making process for a living?
3 years into running a company. I think
this is it.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. I think it was this morning, actually, on the way here. I was like, I
Yeah.
think I want to be officially part of this industry.
Okay. You're in.
I'm in.
How do you feel now? Are you still in though?
I'm in it. No. So my background is in entertainment. I spent almost 2 decades as a performer, as a Broadway performer, singer, dancer, actor, eventually writer and director and producer, working in like musicals. So I never even really knew what the advertising industry was about, other than watching Mad Men or something.
Yeah.
And we kind of fell into building this company. I was going out trying to build my career as a producer, writer, director, choreographer. And so I kind of I needed to build my portfolio, needed to build my reel. And so I started filming little dance routines and mini musicals, just to post online. And this is pre-TikTok. This is posting stuff on YouTube and Facebook. And a few of those pieces of content went mini viral overnight. We're not talking TikTok viral. I mean,
Sure.
10, 20,000 people saw
That's
it.
great.
And, shared it with their Aunt Janet and said, "Oh, I love this. This
Aunt
brought so
Janet.
much joy." And my husband, who was also not from the industry, he worked in marketing. He helped small businesses become smarter leaders and better marketers.
Nice.
He saw the work that I was doing, and he was like, "Well, people love this type of storytelling. It's so fun. It's joyful. It's entertaining. Have you ever thought about doing that for brands?" And I was like, "Do you mean dancing around a Coke can?" And he's like, "Well, maybe." I was like, "Would they pay us?" He's like, "Yeah, companies are always looking for ways to tell their stories in really fun and entertaining ways." And so that's where we said, okay, well, let's try it. And so we started off with Movers+Shakers, helping brands tell their stories in really entertainment forward ways. And that was we did a little mini musical for Match.com back in 2017, the summer that La La Land came out.
Yeah,
remember that movie?
Of course.
And it was underneath it was we were really helping brands create entertaining work that was tapping into some cultural thread that was going on.
Right. Were you on camera at the beginning? You were trying to pitch I can create something for your brand as a content creator?
I've never been on camera for the content we've made for brands, but in the early days, I wrote a lot of it. I would direct it.
Okay. No, because one route that we're seeing is somebody becomes a content creator, they go viral, and then they want to then pivot into creating an agency.
Yes.
But you kind of had that foresight in the beginning, we'll just create some content on behalf of brands.
Yeah. It's not as scalable if I'm in every piece of content.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. No, I think that's interesting though. And
but it was a couple of years until all of a sudden someone's like, "Oh, you guys are running an agency." And I was like, "What's that?
Yes.
What's an agency? How's that work?" And we realized what we've been doing working with brands tell their stories was, we were building an agency. And then there was this huge learning curve of what is this whole advertising industry? And
it's probably an advantage that you didn't have that knowledge, as much, grew up on it. Sometimes you have to untrain people.
Yeah.
They learn the old school method.
Once we realized that we were these outsiders who didn't know a thing about the industry, we were like, okay, let's keep our blinders on as much as possible.
Yes.
Because what we were doing was working, and what we wanted to build, we had a certain vision for, and we didn't want to be weighed down with expectations. And I talk with so many other founders who maybe they started as a copywriter at Wyden, and they're like, "I can do it better." And, and there's always a comparison. It's always I'm doing it different than what I know.
Yes.
And we were just doing what made sense to us. We wanted to tell the stories that we saw brands were excited about and communities were excited about. So we kind of kept our blinders on to the industry expectations, which works to a point, right? At a certain point, you realize, oh, I just reinvented this wheel that we don't need to reinvent.
Sure.
And so part of, as we've grown, is understanding, hey, where do we want to continue to keep our blinders on, do things that we know to be working great, even if it's not industry standard, and other areas where it's no, let's do this because procurement needs it done this way.
Got it. Yeah. Towing that line. What shows were you in?
I was in Mary Poppins.
Nice.
I was a chimney sweep.
Nice.
Did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. When I was directing, I directed big musicals like Newsies and Billy Elliot.
Wow.
So always the big song and dance.
Were you in New York, or where were you for that?
Yeah, I did. I was in Mary Poppins here on Broadway. I did the tour for that for years as well.
Wow.
I spent about 5 years doing different tours. 42nd Street, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Mary Poppins.
Incredible.
Traveling around the world, which was really cool.
Do you miss it?
I miss the energy of it. It's really fun. It's a lifestyle. The lifestyle of being an actor and being an entertainer is really hard.
So you kind of, did you hit the highest tier besides for acting? Were you on Broadway?
Yeah.
So you hit the highest tier, right?
Yeah, I like did the dream, like
You did it.
I made it to Broadway, and for obviously many people, and I have a lot of friends who, you continue working on Broadway shows and not
Yeah, you
Broadway
stay,
shows.
and I'm sure there's levels once you're on Broadway.
Yeah.
There's always higher things you can aspire towards, right?
Yeah.
But like you did it. You
Yeah.
hit the big leagues.
Yeah, I hit the big leagues, and then I was like, all right, let's start something new. Let's start directing.
Yeah.
And
how long were you in it? On Broadway?
I did Mary Poppins on Broadway for about 2 years after doing the Broadway tour for about 3 years.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it burn you out?
Yeah, I mean, that was part of why I switched that part of my career.
Yeah.
I had been doing a show for many, many years. I had just hit 30 and my body was like, things don't hit the same. It doesn't work the same as it used to. I was what was called a swing and a dance captain of the Broadway company. And so basically what that means is that every day I might play a different role. I might be dancing with this person here, lifting that person
there. You knew every part?
I knew every part of the show. And sometimes it would be like half hour before showtime. They'd be like, hey, you're on for Co. Get ready.
Wow.
I was like, okay. And so it was tiring. And I also realized I got the opportunity when I was performing to also start as dance captain, start directing and directing all the kids in the shows and training them, which every 6 months we'd bring on new actors.
Yeah.
And I really liked that part. And so I realized,
like a creative director.
Yeah, basically like creative director. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I like this element of it. I could see having a whole nother related career directing and choreographing and coming up with the dances and stuff and not needing to be on stage.
Got it. And what could have been those other routes?
Yeah, well, it was before we started Movers+Shakers.
Yeah.
I was building a career as a choreographer, as a director, as a writer. I wrote a few different musicals as a producer. And all of those can be their own routes, right? And you have there are many people that do both. Maybe they write and direct their shows, or maybe they direct and choreograph. And so I was kind of playing the field and figuring out what was I most excited about.
I love it. How do you break into Broadway? I've never asked that on this show. But I usually ask people, how do you break into advertising?
Yeah. A lot of hustle.
Yeah. When did you realize that you wanted to be on Broadway? What did you study? How did you get there?
Yeah. So I started dancing when I was 5 years old. It was like my brother was really into soccer and I was always dancing around. So I started tap dancing when I was 5 years old.
Nice.
And that grew, and I started doing shows like musicals when I was like 11 or so. So I always enjoyed performing, but I didn't necessarily think it was going to be my career. But then at some point in high school, I had this idea of like, I could actually probably do this as a career. I was doing enough shows.
Did you say that to yourself, or did like a director tell you that?
I think it was me. I think there were also some directors that I worked with, because I would do like 5 shows a year in high school or something, because I was just constantly, I just loved it so much. And I think people saw that, hey, you love this. Would you think about doing this as a career?
And you were good.
And I was good. Yeah. And so I went to NYU. I studied musical theater.
That's got to be like probably the best program.
Yeah,
right?
it's a phenomenal program. It's one of the best.
What else is up there? Like Juilliard doesn't.
Juilliard, Carnegie Mellon, BU. There's, but it's definitely NYU. And you're in New York, and so you're able to see the best theater out there. Audition. We would have master classes with the casting directors for casting Broadway shows when we're in college.
It's so fun. And I did a little theater in high school, but not at this extent. Okay. So that's why I'm curious.
I think everyone did a little theater in high school.
Yeah. It's good for advertising.
Absolutely.
For sure.
There's a lot of theater kids on our company.
Yeah. And your pitch theater is probably phenomenal when you're pitching a new client.
Yeah. And what a lot of actors don't tell you is that basically when you're an actor, a big part of the job is auditioning. Mm-hmm. And and in fact, even if you've made it to Broadway, you're still, that show closes and you spend 6 months auditioning or 9 months auditioning. And so you have to be an expert auditioner, which is very similar to pitching.
Yeah. And the callbacks is like a next round.
Yeah. It's the R2 of the, of
incredible.
The work. Yeah.
And then, so you went to NYU, and what did you study there? Was it theater?
I studied theater. I studied musical theater specifically.
Gotcha.
They have theater education, theater programs, and musical theater. Yeah.
Got it. Do you think, it sounds like a no-brainer. I've heard people in Chicago, like that's where I'm from, they would do like Second City classes.
Oh yeah.
Like that was like a mandatory agency thing. Like we're do your second City class, or like we'll fund this, or we're going as a group outing. Do you find there's like everybody should do that still?
100%.
Yeah, it's the improv.
We have a lot of creative leaders at our company who have some sort of improv background.
Yeah.
And I think it is, it's helpful because humor works, humor sells. We see, just the creative work that is grabbing attention is humorous, but there's also just this energy that you get when you do improv of you can't be too precious, right? You need to be willing to say, well, what about this? Oh, no one picked up on it. You move on.
Yeah.
And that is so valuable in our industry.
I love it. What would you say to somebody that's just trying to break into advertising today?
I would say build a variety of skill sets. I think I see the industry moving away from this very like I-shaped, you've got like just one area where you're like really deep in writing or really deep in design. And I think the expectation, not just at Movers and Shakers, but more broadly in the industry is like, you've got to have a certain level of depth at all of these. Some people talk about like T-shaped, like you've got one deep experience, but you can also, a broader experience beyond it. But I think it's becoming almost like V-shaped. It's like, okay, you do design, but can you also do motion? Can you also edit? Can you shoot? And I think for creatives breaking into the industry, the ability to wear many hats, to be able to show up and say, yeah, I can get dangerous with any of these sorts of things is where I think it's where the industry's heading.
Yeah. Do you think that's specific like to like writing and art directing? Like, do you want them to combine those two things? Or if you're an art director by trade, like you should know all the skills within art direction, or should they be meshed?
I think craft will continue to be important, but I do think that the industry is moving into more of a maker mindset. Everyone needs to be able to make something like from start to finish. And it's no longer this kind of assembly line pass through. You write the copy, I do the design, we have someone color grade it, right? And so a maker mindset is more like, all right, let me go fire up this software and build it and deliver it.
Yeah. Dan Balser had a podcast with like 500 episodes as well. And now he's at Goodby Silverstein and Partners Academy. Like he's running the cohort program there for Next Generation. And he said, like, if you're in advertising, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, if you're in advertising, you have this curse that you have to create every idea that you come up with, or like at least get it on paper. I think that's what he's getting at. It's like you have to go make it.
Yeah.
And he was early to that. And I think you're definitely reinforcing that. If you come up with it, go make a prototype, get something. And I think with the tools today, it makes it easier, but also like you have to still do it.
And faster. A prototype kills 10 meetings.
I love that. That's the soundbite. That was fire. I love it. Wonderful. Anything else that we didn't get to talk about you want the world to know? How can people reach out to you? Do you have internship programs? Like any job openings?
Yeah. Movers and Shakers is hiring right now. We have a bunch of new roles on our website. We've got all those roles listed out.
What'd you win?
What did we win? Announcement coming soon.
I know. I try to get the scoop always. Yeah. But congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you.
If people are hiring, usually they won something.
Yeah, no, that's usually how it works in this industry. Yeah, so it's been good. It's people want what we're putting down, so which is really cool.
Should they head to the website to check out?
It's on our website, or if you a lot of our roles are posted on LinkedIn as well. But our website, it's got them listed out. Some of them are centered around New York and LA. A lot of content creation roles, writers, some social media managers.
Oh, everything we talked about.
If you're into social or anything we just talked about,
so freaking cool.
Yeah. Get into it.
And you guys are independent. Is this correct?
We actually joined the Stagwell Network a few years ago, which has been really cool.
Very nice. Very nice. Stagwell Network. Got it. Yeah, we just were talking about them today. They got some 72 launched something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool. 72 Creative Collective. Yeah. Yeah, that's been great because also as a leader and a founder who doesn't come from the industry, being part of a network. We're still running essentially as an independent shop, but we have these amazing other...
Yeah, you can tap in.
Yeah, we can tap into the leadership and mentorship from other folks too.
Fantastic. Well, Geoffrey, nicely done. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.